Hi, welcome everyone back to our Power Tips series. Today we're going to talk about marketing. So D365 marketing has so many great features, and I know I'm not familiar as much with it as I should be. So we wanted to take a few minutes to see what's available and talk about some of the new features. So I'll kick it over to Malcolm to start us off.
Yeah, I wanted to dive into the real-time marketing. I have used this marketing platform a little bit, but not same as you, Kylie, not extensively. So I know about some of the features, and I've done some highlights of different features. But even since I did that like 6, 7 months ago, they've really kind of pivoted into this onboard marketing or outbound marketing rather, and real-time marketing. So the real-time marketing is what I wanted to touch on, pun intended, I suppose, just around some of the cool features. And really, it's all about it's basically they took the customer journey aspect, and that's kind of been reframed as real-time marketing in a sense, I guess you could say. But what really caught my attention here that I think customers are going to be really excited about, I know we were as we started digging into this, is this idea of the different kinds of triggers. So they can be automation driven, and I'm going out of order on purpose because custom I want to spend a minute on. Like, so you get an email or a text message come in and it triggers something to happen, or a business action, like you update a record in Dataverse or something along those lines, and that triggers. But the custom one blew my mind. So this was the concept that they used in, I think it was in the docs that used this example. But if you have a conference and you want to interact with your attendees based on interactions they're having with your conference content, the example they used was if the person connects to Wi-Fi. So if they click the sign up button, so there's a custom trigger put on the sign up button that gets the location of where they are when they connect to Wi-Fi. So if they're in the parking lot, your message that they receive being like, hey, welcome to the conference. We can't wait for you to get into the building, because you know physically that they're not in the building yet. Where versus, if they're in I don't know, the cafeteria area or the dining hall, you can be like, hey, you're 5 steps away from the best garlic buns you've ever had or something like that. But the point is this idea of like, let's truly make this dynamic based on how they're interacting and where they are, as one example. And this custom thing seems like the sky's the limit. You could do all kinds of stuff. So that to me was mind blowing. I think I'm really excited to dig more into that and start playing around with how to do that, because that's a game changer in my opinion.
Yeah, and you can really get people directly to those garlic buns.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's perhaps a little big brothery, so to speak, but what isn't these days? So it makes sense. That's all I had. Those were the ones that caught my eye.
Cool. All right, we're going to switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to talk about some of the new Microsoft 365 integrations that are available within Dynamics 365 for marketing, either in preview or will be general availability soon. And those are for Teams and Power Automate. So we're going to start out with Power Automate. And the big change here is you're now going to be able to trigger a Power Automate flow within a journey, which is really cool. Now, there's a couple notes here, the most important being this is only available in real-time marketing. So all that cool stuff that Malcolm just talked about. And it does not affect outbound marketing functionality. So it's limited for now. I didn't see anything in the release notes about moving this to outbound marketing yet. Maybe it'll come one of these days. And it's in preview right now. It's listed for general availability of April, which is very quickly coming to a close. It's not there yet. So maybe this will be pushed out to May. I don't know. You can check Microsoft Docs for more information on that to see if it changes.
Nice.
And then this is some of the updates coming with Teams and the integration here. And I thought this was really neat because I feel like most marketing departments are working collaboratively. And instead of going outside of Dynamics for marketing, where you're planning your content and you're putting different elements into your messaging, now you can launch a Teams chat directly within that window, which is fantastic. So the context is there. You don't have to leave one application to go to another and then keep going back and forth. So that's a trend we've seen throughout Dynamics and throughout Power Apps and the Microsoft Teams integration. So that was really neat that this is coming to the marketing platform. This is another one that's in preview now. General availability for this one is September. So we've got a little while to wait for this, but it's coming. And you can see the supported features are the ability to use Teams chat directly within the entire Dynamics for Marketing suite. You can easily add or remove people from the chat. it'll suggest people to add to the chat based on what's happening elsewhere in Teams. You can see all recent chats, which you can see on the right-hand panel here, showing you other chats. And you can set up which tables to include chat on. So if you don't want them everywhere and you just want them in specific tables, you can do that as well. And that's it for the upcoming Microsoft 365 stuff.
I love that feature, the Teams chat. I was playing with that in a different environment recently, and you can engage. To me, the most exciting part was you can engage people who don't have a license in Dynamics. So, you want to connect with somebody that you know that has insight, but they're not necessarily on the record, and you can't have them look at the record. That's a great feature to be able to engage with them, and then it carries into your Teams chat, so you have that chat ongoing. It's such a cool feature to have just natively built in.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for pointing that out. All right, Kylie, you're up.
Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about some of the features that involve artificial intelligence, because that's always super cool and interesting to look at. So the first one that we have here is around natural language. So we've seen natural language come up a few places across Dynamics, right? Or across the Power Platform. First of all, we saw this in Power BI, where you could ask a natural language question, and then the relevant search inside like dynamic sales was enhanced, and you could search using natural language. And some of those features, I think, were available in preview and kind of changed. And so now we're seeing that also in marketing. So it's really cool. Basically, kind of the same as we saw when this was available in sales, is you could search for your marketing segment using natural language. So like contacts with a birthday this month, contacts who live in this place, or it can even be more complex than that if we need it to be. I think this is really interesting because so often, I think for all of us, right, we've been doing Dynamics for a long time. We know how to build our advanced finds. We know how these tables are connected. We know the different fields. But when you're talking about a marketer who's coming from a marketing background, not a technology background, they don't necessarily know all of that stuff, and they don't need to know all of that. So this allows them to search how they would say it, right? Instead of needing to know how to build that advanced find or build that query. And then it builds kind of the query for them, and they can use that to determine their segment and then use that in their marketing stuff. So I think it's really cool. Also, the other thing with all this AI functionality is there's places that you can provide feedback, right? So if I remember correctly, all of these things, some of the AI processing is still going to be happening on Azure, and some of that data is going to be going back and forth, not your data, but the data about the search terms and things that you're using. And so you do want to keep providing feedback. Yes, that is what I wanted. This is not right, because that's going to keep improving that natural language engine, so it will get better for everyone. And yeah. And then the next thing that I want to talk about was around dynamic content. So this is cool because it's allowing us to change our content with low code, right? So in our example here, I could have my one picture for my regular subscribers and another picture for a VIP member. And I can define those targets and those segments using, I believe, using the natural language like we talked about. And all of this can be done with low code. So I don't need to be kind of writing the conditions or any of that in the email designer, but I can just build it in the drag and drop format. So that's really cool, and just making it a lot more accessible to all kinds of marketers, not needing someone with technical experience. So yeah, that's the cool things that I was looking at in marketing. Well, thanks everyone for joining us for these power tips, and hopefully we'll see you at the next one, and let us know down in the comments if there's anything you want us to talk about.
Bye.